Hello again, it's Mr. Pete, your interweb shop teacher, and this is an unlisted video meant to be kept kind of private, and it's a link within other videos in the description section. I may make it public at another time, but for now I don't want this made. This is a rant. I mean, it's a major rant. This is going to be a long video, 15 or 20 minutes, because I will get so worked up here. I hope I don't die from a heart attack or something to this, and it's all about our wonderful United States Post Office and what they have done to me. Not that it ever happened to anyone else, but I sure had my share of problems with them over the last, 20 years, but really everything I'm going to tell you now happened within the last year or less. Now, if you don't want to hear the rant, turn this off right now, because I do not want any complaints about what I am saying. But the first thing I want to say here is just a little disclaimer in regards to the post office, that the people that I meet at our local post office and my carriers that come to the street out here are great people and wonderful employees. And the post office itself does kind of a remarkable job getting it correct at least 99% of the time, probably maybe 98%. I don't know for sure because they'll never admit that. But and it's remarkable what they're doing in terms of handling the volume of mail. Millions and millions of pieces every day do arrive on time and in good condition. But when the bad things happen to you, you will want to rant too. So you can add your rants or keep them short down in the description of this video if you're so inclined. So let's get started here with one of the most recent things that happened to me. And first of all, let me say that when I was doing Pete Bay, I bought over $3,000 worth of prepaid mailers. Now this isn't prepaid in the various sizes, but this is the most popular because I like to sell small things. But what happened is that I sold at a very high price, I'm not going to tell you how much, a beautiful little indicator that was in tenths of an inch, and this isn't the one, but it's similar, and it was in a box, something like this. I forgot the brand, but a man sent me a considerable check, and I packed it up, mailed it off, and then in a couple days he said, where's my package? And I said, well, it's en route, don't worry, you got, and I gave him the shipping number, or the tracking number, and he said, well, you know what, I've been tracking it, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where it is, the tracking number disappeared. Well, come on, tracking number disappeared? Really? Well, I said, contact me again in a few days, and if it doesn't come, I'll refund your money, and I did. So, then I went to the post office after a while. I gave a little more time to see if it would show up, and of course it didn't. And I went down there and I said, I want to collect insurance on this. And I had the postal receipt with the tracking number and the amount and everything like that, all perfect order. And she said, well, we don't do that here. You got to go home and do that on your computer. And, oh, really? Well, all right, I can do that, but I shouldn't have to. Isn't that your job? Because what if there's some old lady or old man, well, I am an old man, that doesn't have a computer. What do they do? Really? So anyway, I went home and immediately tried to do that, and it wouldn't work at all because it did not recognize that number, because they said that number isn't in the system. They thought I made it up. It's this big long number, tracking number. So I waited a few more days, then I went down to the post office, and again they said, well, we can put in a claim, but you want to talk to the postmistress? She's not here today, but... So about 3 days later, I get a call from the postmistress who pretended to help. She was nice enough, but it was just a pretense. She had bigger fish to fry, I suppose. And I said, well, I can't get through on any of these numbers. I can't talk to a person because it's all automated. You know how that goes, customer no service. All the big companies have customer no service. So she said, well, here's a number that will work. You will talk to a person. So I called it up. There's no person there. I don't know if she gave me the wrong number or she just plain lied to get me out of there or get me off the phone. So that didn't work. So then I called a woman that in Waukesha, Wisconsin, that has been very helpful to me with other problems that I've had. Because she said, call me if you ever have a problem. Well, I called her. I told her the little scenario, and she said, you know what? I feel bad for you. She was so nice. Can't believe she worked for the post office. She was so nice, and she said, "This is one I actually cannot help you on. However, here is a phone number." I said, "That won't work because you can't, there's nobody there." "Yes, there is on this one," but there wasn't. So that didn't work either. So I finally just kind of wrote this off, and but I'm still worked up and angry about it. So anyway, time goes on. It's 3 months later. I think this happened in May, and now it's sometime in September, and I get a letter, email from the man that I sent this to, and he said, "You won't believe this, but it showed up today in the package in perfect condition, and I got it, and I'll send you the money." And he did, because he was an honorable person. I hope he's listening to this. Thank you to you. I don't want to mention his name. So that was all settled, but the number still wasn't in the system. You know, I don't know what caused that to vanish, and I told him down in the post office, I think it's an inside job. Although what would the motive be for someone at a desk someplace to eliminate a number? And I don't think that any girls at a counter would be capable of doing that. It wouldn't happen. So, all right, let me, that's enough on that for the moment. I may come back if I get more thoughts on what all happened. But anyway, that had a bit of a happy ending, but an awful lot of frustration during the time. So now let's cut to the next one, where I have a friend in Florida who asked me, he said, "I need a number," I forgot what number, Morse taper reamer. You know, they're tapered reamers. These would be $300 or $400 in the bigger sizes. But I had one, I used one, but in good condition, so I packaged it up, sent it down to him. He used it, and then in a week he said, "Okay, I'm sending it back," which he did. So I get the box, and it's open. There's nothing in there. They delivered an empty box to me, and the end was open and it was taped. I'll show you pictures of that in a minute. And he said, "I'll collect insurance on that." I'm thinking, yeah, right. So he went through a lot of frustration. We had a lot of emails back and forth, and he said the way they treated him, you know, and they want a receipt. See, you can't collect on that without a receipt, and he probably couldn't collect with the receipt. But come on, this is a 50-year-old item. I don't know where I got it. You know, I probably got it at an auction, and I don't remember what I paid for it. But they're basically not going to pay without a receipt, and then, so it was impossible. So then he sent me a form, or I guess, I got a form in the mail from the post office. And they said, "Fill this out." So I went down to the post office counter, and again, these women were just wonderful. And they had never seen, they acted like nobody has ever had this happen to them. You know, like I'm a freak or something, which I am, I suppose. So anyway, they kept the box. They said, "Well, we got to keep the box." Oh, great. Now I don't have the evidence. And I don't remember what I did with the receipt. Maybe that's, or I don't have the receipt for this. That was in Florida. But now I'm going to cut real quickly to some footage on my phone of, because I told the gal, I said, "Hey, I want to take a picture of this before I give this up." She said, "Okay." And she was nice and seemed extremely concerned when she wrote that out. But then, of course, my buddy in Florida got a note saying, "No. Request denied." And I told, I had to laugh at myself, because I was nice. I would not be rude to those women, but they could tell I was upset. And I said, "I am accusing the post office, not you, of postal fraud. Your insurance is worthless. It absolutely has no value at all." So when my wife goes down there and mails my packages, because I refuse to go there, I pay my wife to go down. I'd rather take a beating than go in the post office. But they say, "Would you like extra insurance?" Because I think $100 is what you get, standard, or 50, uncollectible, so it's irrelevant. So my wife actually, "No, I don't want to pay extra for insurance because your standard insurance is worthless and not collectible." And they kind of smile, but because they know that, I believe, that it's postal fraud. The Postal Service commits postal fraud. Yes, you do. If anybody from the post office is listening. Let me cut real quick and show you the pictures I have on my phone. Not that it's a big deal, but they wrap it in tape, you know, and, you know, package open, you know, like they're concerned. So let's take a look at this real quickly. Okay, here I am at the post office, and there's the package. And can you see that there's tape around there, rewrap and all of that, but the end blew out of the box. So if you're ever shipping anything heavy, wrap it over and over with that fiberglass tape to prevent that from happening, but yet you shouldn't have to do that, should you? So while at the post office, I told the girls, and I told this woman in Waukesha too, I said, your prepaid mailers, your free boxes are worthless. They're made out of donut boxes. They're made out of cereal boxes. Tell somebody in authority to make these out of decent corrugated cardboard, not this thin wafer thing. And I know they want to make it lightweight and they want to make it cheap, but they should also make it so it's usable. Over the years, I have received packages in boxes like this in my mailbox that are empty. Yeah, empty. There's a big hole blown in the side where whatever was in there blew out because the postal authorities in charge of all the conveyors and everything they didn't have physics. They do not understand inertia, that when this box stops suddenly or goes through the sorter, what's inside of it doesn't stop. That's why they put a seat belt in a car, you know, postal workers, so that flies right out, whatever it is. So I have received packages like this by knowledgeable men that have taken the time to build in their wood shop a plywood box that fits inside of this. That's really the only answer. But who's going to do that? That would take an hour by a skilled woodworker to produce a box that fits in here perfectly, made out of Baltic birch. And I have received several of those, and then I use them again sometimes myself. Well, anyway, all right, let's talk about mailboxes now and what the Postal Service did to my mailbox 2 different times. But we got to step out in the garage to do this because I've saved the evidence to show you in this long rant. Doggone blood pressure. I'd hate to take it right now. Garage. Okay. Let's talk about mailboxes and what they have done to my box. I finally had to buy a new one, so that's why the old one is sitting here on a bench. So this happened 2 different times by 2 different drivers that deliver my mailbox to my rural box here. And what happened the first time is that the carrier put some mail in there and then must have done that. And down goes the lid. And then as the truck pulled away, the lid hit the side of the truck, scratched the truck pretty good, but it just bent the heck out of the mailbox so that it was, you know, like that, tore the door off. So I spent a lot of time rebuilding this. Look at this piece of aluminum in here. Here's a magnet, a new handle, just all kinds of repairs that I had to make in cold weather, but finally I got it so it's halfway serviceable again. And then guess what happened? Part 2. By the way, after part 1 there, the driver did come to the door and knock and apologize, but no offer to fix it or replace it at all. So months later, now it's the middle of winter, and the mail truck comes along and the road is crowned a little bit, as all roads are, and the driver came in too fast and the truck slid into the box, bent part of my steel pole and all that, which is quite substantial. I made it years ago in the welding shop, and damaged this thing again, as well as the whole post. Again, she came to the door and apologized, but no offer to repair or anything like that. And then again I made repairs, and I just finally gave it up, or my wife did, because the door wouldn't stay closed, and I had to repair all these hinge points. So at considerable expense, that's a $50 mailbox. I finally put up another mailbox. Now, here's a question that I am posing. If I hit one of their mailboxes down at the post office or wherever they have them, could I just back the car away and say, whoops, sorry, and do it with impunity as they did? Let's have another little look here at something that I want to show you. Have you been enjoying this rant, or is it too much for you, or is anybody still with me? Well, now speaking of damaging a mailbox, I took the liberty of going clear down to the post office last week and taking just a little bit of footage here, just for the laugh of it. So we'll cut to that footage right now, and then I'll be right back, okay? I am here at my local post office, and I am posing a question to you. If I hit this mailbox with my car, would I be responsible for paying for it or repairing it, or could I walk away with impunity like they have done when they struck my mailbox 2 times? If you are still with me, did you like this? But leave a comment, but not too long, of your experiences, because I'm sure that all of us have had these experiences, some worse than others, depending on your volume of mail. I've had very good luck with first class mail. You know, the regular 3-cent post office stamp. 3 cents. That's what it was when I was a kid. They raise it all the time now without even telling you. Have you noticed that? There's no big notification or anything on the fake news, you know, regards that. So, all right. Now, many people have told me that FedEx and UPS aren't much better. Now, I showed something in a recent video, and a lot of people were shocked at that, but we do know that the brown trucks are often called drop and run. You know, they just throw it on your porch and they're gone, because they're overworked. These men are grossly overworked. And did you know that their bosses can track them every minute of the day, how long their truck is in a certain spot and all of that? So they have to hustle. Now, they get good pay and they get good pension, but boy, they are so incredibly overworked. I think that's why they're doing it. Not that that's an excuse. So let's cut real quickly over here to the other side of the shop, where I have these braille micrometers that are in another video, but I want to tell you a little something that happened when those were shipped by my friend out in South Carolina. So look at this. I hope that you have already seen the video I made on these braille micrometers. Now, these are very valuable. They are not replaceable because they were special order to start with. But in order to ship them, Troy bought the box from Starrett, which probably cost a couple $100. I don't know exactly, but he wanted these to be shipped safely. So they're in the wooden Starrett box, and then Starrett also had this wooden box in this box, and then the box that I just dropped on the floor inside of this Starrett box. And then that still wasn't good enough for Troy, so he packed the other boxes inside of this box, and this was all shipped by UPS. There's the label. I don't want you to see that, and that's going to be shipped back this week because I have finished the video, and Troy gave me a prepaid mailer. So I'll pack everything up the way that he sent it, and then I will just put the prepaid mailer on there, stop a brown truck, and hand it to them, and away they go. But I'm not done. So this package required a signature. Signature required. But you know what? They didn't get my signature. He threw it on the porch and put this sticky on the door. Now, luckily, it wasn't raining or anything like that, but how can he get away without a signature when it says signature required? And that's UPS. Thank you, Brown. Well, that concludes this extremely long rant. I know that some of you people love it when I rant, but some do not. Hopefully nobody, if you didn't like my rant, of course, you wouldn't watch this. So that completes the video, and it was very cathartic for me to get that off my chest, and I am calmed down now. I think it would be safe to take my blood pressure at this time because, you know, I still have to use the post office and these other delivery agencies, albeit a lot of incompetence involved there because these people are so overworked, plus a lot of them just don't care. It's a miserable job. I don't believe that there is. If you work at the post office and you like your job, let me know. Now, what wouldn't be too bad is the rural delivery people, but I think they're contract drivers but they can be in their truck listening to the latest podcast of something and kind of enjoy it and occasionally talk to a customer that comes out to the mailbox. So their life wouldn't be too terribly unpleasant. But to work down in the post office, I think you're better off working for Henry Ford in 1912 under the harsh conditions at the River Rouge plant for dimes an hour. Well, it went up to $5 a day at some point. But you know, it's a miserable job, so doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of disgruntled people, because I've seen the way they throw these boxes around, you know, and I can't forgive anybody for doing that, because would they feel okay if somebody threw their brand new computer or something around like that on the porch when they order it from Amazon or something? And oh, there's one other thing. I took pictures of this, but I'm not going to show it. I bought an electric bicycle 4 months ago, and it came from Arizona, you know, in a big box, and it was FedEx, and they just set it out on my back sidewalk near the porch in the rain. Now, it didn't hurt anything, luckily, but in the rain, it wasn't raining hard, but how can they do that with a, you know, $1,100 or $1,200 item? Just drop it off, you know. That's unforgivable also. All right, cease. The rant will never cease, will it? I have a million other things to say, but that's it. That's it. I'll see you next time. Be sure and watch my regular videos. Even if you couldn't take this, you might like the other ones.